الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره صدق الله العظيم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. الحمد لله منشي الخلق من عدم ثم الصلاة على المختار في القدام. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. ثم الرضا عن أبي بكر وعن عمر وعن علي وعن عثمان ذي الكرام والآل والصحب ثم التابعين فهم أهل التقى والنقى والحلم والكرام. مولاي صل والآل وأصحب ثم التابعين فهم أهل التقى والنقى والحلم والكرام. يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا فاغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه. نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. صلاة وسلاما عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله. صلاة وسلاما عليك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. صلاة وسلاما عليك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين. Alhamdulillah, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending countless blessings on Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this another great opportunity to meet together today and to continue with our Quranic lesson. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our attendance, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us understand Quran, read Quran, and practice Quran, and follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. For the past 2 weeks, probably, we had started with our revision of fundamentals of Islam, and we started with the first part of it, which was the pillars of Islam, and we discussed that these pillars of Islam, I don't want to go into detail, we have already spoken much about it. They depend on one very important pillar, that is Kalimatul Shahada, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And then we proved that Kalimatul Tayyiba, La ilaha illallah, from Al-Quran Al-Kareem, and Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from Al-Quran Al-Kareem. And also we discussed about Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. And also we refer this to the Al-Quran Al-Kareem, where with this word found in the Al-Quran Al-Kareem, Ashhadu, with the Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Then after that we came to the main important issue, the strength of Kalimatul Shahada or Kalimatul Tayyiba, that is the conviction and the belief of Hukmul Nubuwwah, that no matter how many kalimas you read, or how many shahada you give, or how many namaz you give, or how many zakat or hajj or fasting you have, if you don't have the belief of the seal of prophethood on the most beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you don't believe that he is the last and the final messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is no messenger who could come or who would come after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you don't have this belief, then all other actions you do in Islam are just in vain. They don't have any importance, and they don't have any acceptance in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we discussed about the references from Al-Quran Al-Kareem, where in the Quran Al-Kareem Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the final and the last messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the details, you have them, you can keep revising them and keep studying them, and you can go to the different tafsir and different translations of Al-Quran Al-Kareem, and you can understand them in better way. So we have known the references. Now to the depth of these references, if you want to know more, so you can refer to the books of translation. And the best book we always recommend people to learn from, to understand Quran from, is Kanzul Iman. Kanzul Iman, either you can take it, if your Urdu is better, you can take the Kanzul Iman translated in Urdu. If your English, you understand it in English better, you can have the English translation of Kanzul Iman. And if you speak Creole or French, you can have them. I think in our library also we have these translations. You can go back to them and take these translations, and then read these ayat properly, understand them in the depth of it. And if there is any detail you want to know about what we have learned today, then you can combiningly and collectively you can request and we can have a special session for that particular topic or particular issue that all of you will need to go back again and to understand something else. So, and we say that there is only one ayah in the Quran al-Karim which directly mentions that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is the final and the seal of prophethood. Which ayah is it? Only one ayah. Can you read it? Very good. ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين وكان الله بكل شيء عليما. This is the only ayah in the Quran al-Karim which directly mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's most beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Allah's last and final messenger, and he is the seal of all prophethood. So today we are going to take one step forward, inshallah, and we're going to discuss about the second pillar of Islam. And today maybe I may take much time of yours because Hafiz Ziyad, as I told you last time, he was going to be online, but the system is not working properly. So I'll take some part of these classes, inshallah. I won't take full time, just to practice the Quran, inshallah. If you don't mind, if you're tired, then you can start next week, no problem. Yeah, so now we take the other pillar of Islam. Which is, the second pillar is? Salah. Okay. So this is Salah. No problem in saying Salah. Or you can say Salah. Okay. If you stop on this, when we learn Tajweed, you'll understand why we stop on this. Salah or Salat. And in our local language, in Pakistan and Asian countries, we call it namaz. Okay? So namaz is our easy language of translating the word salah. But as we are going to learn, inshallah, about this word of salah, you will understand that namaz is not enough translation for the word salah. We just translated salah, salah as namaz, with a very specific meaning of it. But broadly and widely, the word salah has various meanings and has different varieties of meaning. Because this is Arabic language, and Arabic language is so rich language. You can have one word but bearing so many meanings, and the same word can be used in different occasions and different situations, different time and different places. And sometimes those who don't understand Arabic, they get confused, and they say that this word means this according to her, according to him. Why is it used this way here in this Quran or in the Hadith or in other Arabic literature? So keep in mind that Arabic language is such a powerful and rich language that one word you may come across it bearing different meanings. So Salat in Al-Quran Al-Karim, today you can see on your board that the types of prayers mentioned in the Al-Quran Al-Karim. So the second pillar of Islam is Salah. The first one is the first pillar. Shahadatu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. The second is As-Salah, which we're going to discuss shortly. And the third is Saum. We try to bring the Arabic testing it. As-Salah, As-Saum, then Az-Zakah, then Hajj. There are 5: Shahada, As-Salah, Az-Zakah, As-Saum, and Hajj. Okay? These are 5 pillars of Islam. So we call them 5 pillars of Islam, as I told you before, that Islam is built on these 5 pillars. If you don't have these 5 pillars, then you cannot claim to be a Muslim. You cannot claim to be a person who is on the right way as an Islamic religious person. Because they are the pillars, and if you don't have those pillars, you may do anything in your life, but this will not benefit you with anything. So, what is the most important thing in these 5 pillars? Before we go to namaz, as I told you in the beginning, and I repeat it again, that believing in the obligation of these 5 pillars is very crucial. Believing in the obligation. You have 2 aspects here. One aspect is practical aspect of these 5 pillars. The practical aspect, that is to perform namaz practically, to give zakat practically, to fast the whole month of Ramadan practically, and to go for Hajj practically. So this is the practical aspect of these 5 pillars of Islam. And also to claim that Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is the verbal, practical aspect of kalimatu ash-shahada. Now there is the believing aspect of it, so which is very crucial, because you may practice as much as you want, you may perform namaz as much as you want, but if you don't believe in the obligation of these 5 pillars, then your practice is just like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in one hadith, just like a मुर्गी, you know what मुर्गी चिकन, जब वो कुछ खाना खाता है, मुर्गी खाता है खाती है, हाँ, ठीक है, जब खाती है खाना, तो जो सब जो ना वो मरता रहता है. The head of the chicken keep moving. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this hadith he brings in the chapter of namaz. Those people who perform namaz in haste, quickly. They just want to go to open their shop, they want to go to open their business, or they want to go to cook, or they want to go to prepare this. So they just want to perform namaz as a custom, just to fulfill the farz, and that's all. They don't pay attention in the Quran, they don't pay attention in what they read, they don't pay attention in the ruku, in the qiyam, in the sajda, in the tahiyyah. They just want to perform their 4 rakat or 3 rakat or 2 rakat and just get rid of namaz, and then say, okay, we are performing namaz. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say those people are just like that chicken which eats, very fast. So their namaz is being followed, and once they go out from the masjid, Rasulullah says their namaz is thrown again on their face. That we don't know your namaz. Because if you come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be in a very comfortable way, be very relaxing, be very happy, be very attentive, and perform the namaz of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comfortably and calmly and without any haste. So, this is the practical aspect of it. To believe in it, that namaz, Sawm, Zakat, and Hajj, these are 5 obligations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very important. If by any chance you leave this world, if you die, and you practice on namaz, you practice on roza, you practice on Hajj and Zakat, and even you verbally say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, but in the depth of your heart you don't believe in the fardiyah of these 5 things, you don't believe in the obligation of these 5 things, so you will die as a kafir, not as a mu'min. You get my point? So there is a practical aspect of these things, and there is a believing aspect of these 5 pillars, which both of them are very important for someone to become a complete and perfect mu'min, to believe on one hand and to practice on the other hand. But if someone has to choose between practice and belief, so remain with the believing aspect than the practical aspect. Why? Because if you go with the practical aspect, this will not benefit you with anything. It will not bring you into the circle of Islam. But if you stay with the believing aspect that this is the farz of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on me. Whether I perform it or I don't perform it, but I believe with a sincere heart that this is the farz and I believe it is farz, so your iman is still there. Your iman is still there. But I'm not discouraging you from practicing the practical aspect of this. Namaz is farz, as to believe also is farz, to perform it practically also is farz. So this is what we call it. It is the bunyan. It is the principle. These are the principles of Islam that you have to believe in their obligations. You have to believe that these are the fara'id, the most important pillars that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have mentioned concerning the root of Islam and the foundation of Islam. Now this salah has been used in different meanings in the Al-Quran Al-Karim in terms of its literal meaning and in terms of situations also, in terms of time and places and in terms of moments. Salah has been brought in the Quran Al-Karim with various meanings, and maybe sometimes on our way learning this, you may get shocked or maybe ask yourself whether even namaz can have this meaning also. So that's why I'm making your mind that Quran, Arabic language is such a rich language that you may have one word, but you may derive several meanings from that word. So today we are going to discuss those different types of namaz. We don't discuss about its literal meaning. We just discuss about the namaz itself. That how many types of namaz that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Al-Quran Al-Karim. Because practically, we know those namaz practically. But how do we call them or how can we prove them in Al-Quran Al-Karim? Because this is my main mission. My intention is not only to come here to give speech. You have so many people to listen, who speak very good and who are very well knowledgeable people. Okay, but my intention and my mission and my pain, which is in me especially, regarding Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that we listen too much. Okay, we listen, but very few moments and very few times that you'll find that we are able to prove what we listen. And the world we are living today, the situation we're living today in colleges, in universities, even in your workplaces also, offices also. We are living not only in multi-religious country, but now we are living in multi-belief, you understand, and multi ideologies. We have so many different ideologies, different thoughts in our society today, and everyone is trying to pull one another towards this thought. So you as a person who believes in these 5 pillars, someone may just come across to you and just tell you, okay, you believe in Islam, Islam has 5 pillars. First of all, tell me what are the pillars of Islam. So if you say 5, say, okay, very good, this is the first step. The second step, can you prove them from Al-Quran Al-Karim? This is your spiritual book and divine book, you believe in it. So if you cannot prove that, so this is the first entrance of that person to disturb your iman. You understand? Because if you cannot prove what you believe, it is very easy for someone else to make you believe what they believe. You understand? Because they may come up with a stronger argument which you don't have. So for you to protect yourself from that negative, strong argument, you must equip yourself with the proof and with the realities that, okay, if I believe in Salah, where can I find it in the Quran Al-Karim? If I believe in Saum, where can I find it in the Al-Quran Al-Karim? If I believe in Zakah, where can I find it in the Al-Quran Al-Karim? So my intention is to drag you back to the Al-Quran Al-Karim and to drag you back to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam I want to remove you from too much the intoxication of reading storybooks. You understand? The storybooks which do not have any tail, do not have any head, there's no A, B, C, D in it. You don't know anything about it. But just because the storybook is written in such a beautiful way, the writer is such a very good writer, so just believe in these storybooks. And unfortunately, today, our Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we have this weakness. We believe in unauthentic stories more than authentic ahadith. You understand? Leave alone the authentic story, and the authentic story, this is different. We don't even believe sometimes in authentic hadith. If on one hand you have an authentic, which is not, there's not any reality of that story, but since it is interesting, it is attractive, so you are ready to believe that attractive story, and you are ready to reject the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the mentality we have in our society today. So my intention and my wish is that I want we as the Sunnah al Jama'ah to take ourselves out of those unauthentic resources and come to the most solid and authentic resource. That is Al-Quran Al-Kareem and the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I want you to come back to the Quran and try to know the ibadah you are doing. You are not reading just from the small pamphlet, from a small book written by maybe Miyaji or written by certain mullah or whatever. You know the ibadah you are doing is direct from Al-Quran Al-Kareem. And when you say Allahu Akbar for namaz, so you are not only worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you can see from which part of the Al-Quran Al-Kareem this ibadah is mentioned. And it has its own beauty. It has its own sweetness. When you read the Quran, and so you perform namaz, you read the Quran, on one hand, you know the better way of reading the Quran, you can understand this word is coming from this part of the mouth, this makhraj is this harf is pronounced this way. And at the same time, you know the salah I'm reading now, this salah is found in this surah, in this verse. It is very tasty when you read this kind of namaz. Then you have full attention and full concentration towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you do this ibadah. But if you do ibadah just as a custom, as a ritual, just for the sake of your ibadah, because it's far and just do it, you don't know how much what you are doing, you don't know what you are saying, you don't know what namaz is all about. So then here is where Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-alim al-fajir خير من العابد الجاهل." Alim. I'm not talking about the cheap concept of alim which we have in our society. Alim, a person who is the alim of the Quran, the alim of the hadith, the alim of the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His position, even if by mistake he commits sin, the alim, but still he becomes better than the abid who is jahil. Abid being a person who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala too much, tasbih, nafal, all kind of voluntarily performed in namaz. You can perform any sunnah, any nafal, any mustahab, whatever, but you are jahil. You don't know why you are performing this namaz. You don't know anything about namaz. You just know to stand up, go ruku, go sajda, stand up, go ruku, go sajda. So that namaz, that alim who is a sinner is much better than this alim who is performing namaz every day, every time, but he don't know the value of his namaz. He don't know the importance of his namaz. He don't know the impact of his namaz. He don't know the effect of his namaz. So this is why we have to try our level best, at least the basics of Islam. I'm not going to tell you to become the champion of Islam just in the basic thing, that is namaz, roza, hajj. The thing that whether we want it or we don't want it, we have to do them because they are fard. So at least the fard things, let us try to make them in such a way that we are comfortable and we know if Quran says about this or Hadith say about this. So this is my intention, and I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah will accept it, and one day we'll see our Sunnah, Ahlul Sunnah al Jama'ah inshallah, focusing on the Quran more than on the storybooks, inshallah. Now, here we are going to mention the types of prayers in Al-Quran al-Kareem. So, number one is, if you can read, number one. Yeah, traveling prayer. So, in normal situation, if I tell you, I'm going to perform traveling prayer, it may sound a bit awkward. It may sound a bit different because we are not used to hear traveling prayer. Okay? But then if you use the Arabic word, then it will click in your mind. Salatul, you can read it. The Arabic. Huh? Yeah, Salatul Musafir. Salatul Musafir. So maybe you may not, you never heard this kind of concept that all these types of namaz could be mentioned in the Quran al-Kareem. Did you know of it? Did you know about that apart from the normal namaz we perform? Did you know that there are other different varieties of namaz that are mentioned in the Quran al-Kareem? No, just be frank, it's not a problem. Don't try to say, I don't know. If you don't know, just say, I don't know. And don't hesitate to say, I know. Okay? Did you know that there are these kind of different varieties of namaz Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran al-Kareem? Okay. So this is how we needed to deal with our Islam. The major basic thing, the highlighted things in Islam should be known, the real resource of it, where it is coming from. So this is Salatul Musafir, traveling prayer. And we'll come into this discussion when we come to know about each and every namaz separately. What does Salat Musafir mean? When do you need to perform Salat Musafir? What are the conditions? All these things are there. We need to know about them. And we keep traveling, but I know very few people can give me the details about Salat Musafir. Very few. You understand? So we have to know about these things. Traveling prayer, the word prayer came to denote the shortening of prayer for the traveler. In the word of God, the Most High, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there is no sin if you shorten your prayer. So this is the Quran al-Kareem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَنْ تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ أن تقصروا من الصلاة in Surah An-Nisa, Ayah 101. In Surah An-Nisa, Ayah 0. I forgot to put the references here, I'm sorry. In Surah An-Nisa, Ayah 0, 101. Surah An-Nisa. If you have your Quran on your mobile, you can check it. Yeah. $101. وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ Allah Ta'ala says, وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ Surah An-Nisa, Ayat 101.
What surah number? Surah
Nisa. Surah Nisa is the third surah of Al-Baqarah, Al-Imran, and Nisa, the third surah. Apart from Surah Fatiha. Okay? Yeah, which Surah Fatiha is the fourth one? Sorry. وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَنْ تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ إِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَنْ يَفْتِنَكُمُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِنَّ الْكَافِرِينَ كَانُوا لَكُمْ عَدُوًّا مُبِينًا. This is the first ayat which mentioned about Salatul Musafir. And Allah Ta'ala says there is no sin, there is no problem on you if you shorten the prayer. If you shorten the prayer, but this does not mean in any condition, only when you are in journey. Because I have not put the safar here, but the Quran is very clear. In khiftum wa idha darabtum fil ard, when you are on the earth, walking, going, traveling. So, فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ, there is no any shortening on you, and taqsuru min as-salah, to shorten anything from namaz, in khiftum an yaftinakum alladhina kafaru, if you are afraid that those disbelievers would bring any sort of trial on you, so to leave that place quickly or to make yourself comfortable in your journey, you can shorten your namaz. So this is just about the shortening the namaz. So which namaz to be shortened and how to shorten it and when and in which conditions, this is another topic we'll discuss about that. For the time being, I'll give you the proof of only shortening namaz. Okay? So this is Surah Al-Imran, Surah Al-Nisa, Ayah 101. The second thing is Salatul Khawf. Salatul Khawf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again says in Al-Quran Al-Kareem. Again in Surah Al-Nisa, Ayah 102. Surah Al-Nisa, Ayah 102. So Salatul Khawf, this is the salah which is performed when someone is in fear. When someone is in fear, not common fear, not the fear that we can understand. When someone is in the battlefield, mujahideen. Are you getting my point? Are you understanding? Yeah, when someone is in the battlefield, is fighting with an enemy, and the time of namaz appears. Now you can see how important namaz it is. Even if when you are under the shadow of swords, okay, today we are using the bullets and the machine guns or whatever, even if you are in the middle of your enemies and they are there to fight with you, and the time of namaz is there, so Islam does not tell you that you can skip your namaz. No, you have to perform that namaz. Even if in that condition, in that situation also, namaz is a false. Now you can imagine today if you are slightly flu, for example, flu, you say, "Mupak namaz." Kifaya, mupak malad. What malad do you have? Just slightly flu. Just because you can't breathe well, you are skipping namaz just because of that. And here in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala is mentioning those who are in the battlefield. They are fighting. You understand? They are confronting enemies, and anytime they can come and attack them. In that condition, also Allah Ta'ala says your namaz is not forgiven, and you have to perform namaz in that situation. Now you can understand those Babas who come to Mauritius and other countries and tell people, so forgive your namaz as well. Okay, your namaz, I'm going to handle it myself. Just understand, why are we carried away by these Babas? Because we don't know anything about Islam, about Sharia, what Quran tells us. About the importance of our activities, we don't study Quran. And that's why these Babas, illa mashallah, they are good people, them also. That's why these Babas, they use their beautiful and sweet language and give you their beautiful and sweet unknown story books just to keep you far from Al-Quran al-Karim. Because they know if you read the Quran, you in many issues you will not agree with them. In many issues you will not agree with them. You understand? So that's why we are carried away by the talk of this part. But Quran is very clear. You understand? That even in this situation you have to perform your namaz. So Salatul Khawf, the salah of this situation when people are fighting, we call it Salatul Khawf. Salatul Khawf. The prayer of fear. The word prayer came to know the prayer of fear in the word fear. In the word of God, the Most High Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, and if you are among the established prayer for them, if you are among them, establish prayer among them. If you are in that battlefield and the time of prayer has come, don't try to look for excuse. Perform namaz with that. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, it's a long ayah. وَإِذَا كُنْتَ فِيهِمْ, if you are among them, I'm translating this in my own English, I'll just make it easy. وَإِذَا كُنْتَ فِيهِمْ, if you are among them, فَأَقَمْتَ لَهُمُ الصَّلَاةَ, and then you performed namaz for them. You did the iqamah for them. You guided them for the namaz. فَلْتَقُمْ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ مَعَكَ, so one group divide your troop into two groups. One group, فَلْتَقُمْ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ مَعَكَ. One group will stand with you and perform namaz with you. وَلْيَأْخُذُوا أَسْلِحَتَهُمْ. And in the position of that namaz, they will hold their weapons. They will hold their weapons. They are performing namaz and their weapon is in their hand. Then, فَإِذَا سَجَدُوا فَلْيَكُونُوا مِنْ وَرَائِكُمْ. When they will do sajda, one troop will be standing behind you. One troop will be standing behind you. This is a style of performing. وَلْتَأْتِ طَائِفَةٌ أُخْرَى لَمْ يُصَلُّوا فَلْيُصَلُّوا مَعَكَ. Then when the other troop go to sajda and the other one is behind you, then those who have not yet performed namaz, they'll come, they start their namaz, and then those who are in the sajda, they come behind. Are you getting me? So this is a technical way of performing Salatul Khawf. But in short here is, even in fear, you are not allowed to skip your namaz. You understand? So this is the ayat, it's a long ayat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and O beloved Prophet, when you are amid them, then lead them in prayer, then let a party of them be with you, and let them take their arms. Then when they have finished their prostration, then moving from there, they should go to your rear, to your behind, and now let other party who had not participated in the prayer at that time come be your followers in the prayer, and let them also take their means of protection and weapons. The infidels wish that in case you become greatly negligent of your arms and your baggage, then once they may fall upon you, and there is no fault upon you, if you are in trouble due to rain or you are sick, that you put aside your arms and you carry your means of protection with you. Undoubtedly, Allah has prepared for the infidels a degrading torment. So this is the complete details about performing namaz when you are in fear. So this 102 Surah An-Nisa 102 Surah An-Nisa Surah An-Nisa ayat 102. So here is the details about Salatul Khawf, the Salat which is performed in the situation of fear when people are in the battle of fear. How to perform it, in which condition, we'll come to discuss about it, but more or less it has been explained in this hadith. Yeah, just in Musafir, Salat Musafir. So Salat Musafir can be for Maghrib also, it can be okay, Maghrib there's no shortening of the month, but it can be for Zuhur, it can be for Asr, it can be for Isha also. So Salatul Khawf was maybe the battle is taking place time of Isha, for example. So that will be Salatul Khawf of Isha. If the battle is taking place at Zuhur time, so Salatul Khawf will be for Zuhur time. You understand? It's okay? Salatul? We have not come there. We are coming. Yeah, let us come step by step. It means you are too fast than me. Okay, so this is Salatul Khawf. Now we go to Salatul Jum'ah. This is another type of salah which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran. Salatul Musafir, Salatul Khawf, and Salatul Jum'ah. Salatul Jum'ah is very easy and very famous. So in Suratul Jum'ah you can go and the last ayat of Surah, the last ruku. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha nudiya lis-salati min yawmil jum'ah fas'au ila dhikrillahi wa dharul bay' dhalikum khayrun lakum in kuntum ta'lamun. So this is for Salatul Jum'ah mentioned of in Surah Al-Jum'ah. In Surah Al-Jum'ah in the last ruku of this surah. So it is very easy to find it. Now we go to Salatul Marid. Salatul Marid, prayer of the sick. Salatul Marid. There we have discussed about Salatul Khawf, when you are in fear. Even in the situation of fear, you have to perform your namaz. Now here, even when you are sick also, you have to perform namaz. And which kind of sickness that allows you not to perform namaz? Can you guess? Just guess. Which kind of sickness that allows you to skip namaz? To not perform namaz? Huh? Mental sickness? Any other sickness? According to you, according to your limited knowledge, any other sickness? When in coma? Yes. Paralyzed, okay. So, mental sickness, someone has say coma, or someone is paralyzed, someone is weak. So, according to you, have three sicknesses that allow someone to stop to skip namaz, not perform namaz at the time. But keep in your mind, there is no situation that someone is mentally sound, that is allowed not to perform namaz. Only when you have problems, you become poor, for example. Okay, you become mad. Pagal ho gaya, so pagal ke liye koi masla nahi. You are in coma, because in coma this is medically you are just like a dead person. You understand? In that situation you cannot, because you don't know yourself that time. You cannot do anything that time. So only in the condition that you are not in a position to do anything, you are completely like a dead body in front of in reality, then you cannot perform. So if you have any in your body, even if not physically, but even mentally, you are okay. You know that you are alive, but only physical strength you don't have. That even mentally also you have performance. How? By imagination. By imagining that you are in Qiyam, imagining that you are reading Surah Fatiha, imagine that you are reading another Surah after Surah Fatiha, you imagine that you are going to Ruku, you are reading the Tasbih, you are standing from Ruku, imagination, this also is false for you to do it. You understand? So you can see how important namaz it is, and how easily we play around with namaz. Am I right? All of us, we are all in the same boat. No one can say, I'm better than, maybe you are better than me, but I don't claim to be very good in performing namaz. You understand? So very easily we deviate from that. If there are games on the TV, whatever, there is any faith outside, we go to eat perform. We go to seaside, for example, camping, no. But do we consider namaz as a fard even when we go for camping outside? Many of us know. Because if we go for camping also, I see the environment for me and I'm not that stupid. You understand? I understand when people are in the position of performing namaz, I know that okay, these are the people who can perform namaz. I mean, apparently, their physical appearance, it shows that. If they are what really they do, Allah Rasulullah. But Sharia always judge what someone sees. I see you have hijab on your face, you have a proper clothing, I'll say Alhamdulillah, this is a very Islamic woman. Behind the curtain, what you do, what you don't do, this is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Sharia does not allow me to do any investigation against you. You understand? Sharia tells me you have seen this lady, she's in hijab, she's in burqa. Your duty is only to be very positive about her or about him. You understand? And behind the curtain, inside that burqa, if there is other hanky-pankies is taking place, this is not your job. Islam wants peace in the society, wants good thinking, positive thinking with one another. That's why, unless that person exposes herself or himself, even being a Maulana or being Farda woman, if they do other things against Sharia, being in that Farda or being in this position, then you have the right to rise up your voice and say, okay, this Maulana is like this. But if just by thinking or by hearing some rumors saying that this Maulana is this or that lady, to don't look at his father, you don't know what she do, this is not your job. What is hidden, let it be hidden. And I think you can refer to one of my speech I did about there is the sin that people should not expose themselves to the society. If by mistake Iblis has misled you and you have committed sin, and Allah Ta'ala has not exposed you to someone, He has covered you, He has protected you from being seen by someone else. Why do you go and tell your friends? Are you understanding this? At night you are alone. Maybe only you and your husband, or maybe you and your wife, maybe you and your kids only. Only you know what has happened in the house. Are you getting me? No other person know about that. And tomorrow when you go to college, then you make a message, hey, to connect you fair here son. You understand? You know what I've done yesterday? You feel happy to share the secrets of your family, the secrets of your husband, the secrets of your wife, the secrets of your children, of your family, to your friends, just to entertain them. And this is the sin that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected you in the darkness of the night. So those people who are protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and try not to commit those sins again. But in our society, it's very funny. When you go to colleges, when you go to school, they just sit down and just talk about stories, about the bad things they have committed. And very rare you will see them discussing about something good in the society they have committed. Most of these youngsters in colleges, in universities, you just hear them talking this rubbish. You understand? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected you and keep yourself in that protection. So if you go outside, have with your family, with your kids, at least as a Muslim or a Muslimah, you should have this mentality that, okay, although I'm going out, but there is time for us. And I have to prepare. If you have a car, at least take 2 or 3 musallas in the back of your car. If you go somewhere, this is Mauritius, alhamdulillah, it's a peaceful country. It's not like in Kenya or in the other places in the world. In Kenya, it's very difficult for you on your way, that motorway here between the motorway, just put your car aside and put your musalla and perform a month. In Kenya, you need such a big heart to do that. Because anything can happen in time. Because that is my country. And the bigger country it is, the bigger population you have, the more corrupted country it is. So there are bigger countries than Kenya. You can see South Africa, recently what has happened there. You can see Pakistan, you can see India, you can see America. The bigger country it is, the more corruption is there. You understand? So this is a peaceful country. Alhamdulillah, with the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no problem for you to keep your car aside and just go in one small park somewhere and perform your namaz. You understand? But we don't keep these things on mind. We neglect namaz. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Salat al-Marid, Salat al-Musafir, even if you are sick, you have to perform your namaz as long as you have the senses in your life. Those who remember God standing and sitting and on their sides. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Imran, in ayat 191, الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم الذين يذكرون الله الذين يذكرون الله قعودا قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض. Okay, in Surah An-Nisa, ayah 191. Okay, those who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala qiyaman while standing, wa qu'udan while sitting, wa ala junubihim and on their sides also, when they cannot stand up, they cannot sit, they cannot stand, they cannot sit, so they perform their namaz on their sides, lying down. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, and they keep thinking about the creation of skies and earth. رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. Oh Allah, you have not created this uselessly, for nothing. You understand? So this is the ayah which indicates Salatul Musafir in Surah Al-Imran, ayah 191. So in any condition you are, namaz is not forgiven unless you have fulfilled the requirements of namaz to be allowed, of not performing namaz to be allowed for you in your situation. Salatul Janaiz. Salatul Janaiz. Salatul Janaiz, this is the Salah of Janazah. Salah Janazah. And never pray for any of them who dies. ولا تصلي عليهم ولا تصلي على أحد منهم مات أبدا. ولا تصلي على أحد منهم مات أبدا. In Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 84. Surah Tawbah, in Surah Tawbah, ayah 84. وَلَا تُصَلِّ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ, and do not perform namaz on any one of them who died, abadan, never. وَلَا تَقُمْ عَلَىٰ قَبْرِ, and do not even stand on their qabr. إِنَّهُمْ كَفَرُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, they have definitely disbelieved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger. وَمَاتْ وَهُمْ فَاسِقُونَ, and they have died as open sinners. This is in Surah Tawbah, Surah number 9, ayah number 84. Number 84. Number 84. My time is finished. Can we continue, or we'll go for Qiraat a bit for the surah? Can we finish this one? Because we have some three more. So this is Salatul Musafir, Salatul Khawf, Salatul Jum'ah, Salatul Marid, Salatul Janaiz. After this Salatul Janaiz, we have Salatul Tahajjud. Salatul Tahajjud, this is very clear. You can write the Surah Al-Zumar, verse number 9. Surah Al-Zumar, verse number 9. Salatul Tahajjud. So Salatul Tahajjud, one is in Surah Al-Muzammil also, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned it for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya ayyuhal muzammil, qum al-layla illa qalila, nisfahu aw inqus minhu qalila, أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا إنا سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا إن ناشئة الليل هي أشد وطئا وأقوم قيلا. And also in Surah in Bani Israel, أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا ومن الليل فتهجد به. This also is mentioned in this surah in 15th surah. So here we are discussing about Surah Al-Zumar. Will he who passes the hours of the night in devoted obedience, prostrating and standing, fearing the hereafter, and hoping for the mercy of his Lord, be led disobedient? Here is a question Allah is asking, that those who stand at night, they stand worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, prostrating, in the form of prostrating. Are these people who always worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the fear of akhirah, in the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the fear of the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? These people can be equal to those who are infidels, to those who are kafir? Never. The person who spends his day and night worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of fear of Allah, out of fear of the punishment of the day after, this person cannot be equal to that kafir who don't care, who don't even know that there is God, who don't even care that there is someone to be worshipped. So these are the people who are present in the Quran, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this ayah. أَمَّنْ هُوَ قَانِتٌ آنَاءَ اللَّيْلِ سَاجِدًا وَقَائِمًا يحذرون الآخرة ويرجو رحمة ربي in Surah Al-Zumar, ayah number 9. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning about this Salatul Al-Tahajjud, and it is not fard, it is voluntarily performed in a month, but it is mentioned in the Al-Quran Al-Kareem. Is it okay? Is it clear? Okay? يا أمن هو قانت آناء الليل ساجدا وقائما يحذر الآخرة ويرجو رحمة ربه قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب. Will he who passes the hours of the night in devoted obedience, prostrating and standing, fearing the hereafter, and hoping for the mercy of his Lord, be led disobedient? So this is the ayah in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning about Salatul Al-Tahajjud. Then you have Salawatul Khams, the 5 prayers. Salawatul Khams. Salawatul Khams in Surah Hud, verse 114. An established prayer at the two ends of the day and at the approaches of the night in Surah Hud, verse number 14. Number 114. وأقم الصلاة طرفي النهار وزلفا من الليل إن الحسنات يذهبن السيئات ذلك ذكرى للذاكرين. And establish prayer at the two ends of the day and in parts of the night. No doubt good deeds obliterate evil deeds. This is admonition for the person accepting admonition. أقم الصلاة طرفي النهار وزلفا من الليل إن الحسنات يذهبن. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says establish prayer at the two ends of the day. The two ends of the day. Which is the two ends of the day? Morning and afternoon. So in the morning, afternoon and evening. These are two ends of the day. So morning is not the end, it's the beginning of the day. Okay? Maybe you can say the end of the night. So the end of the day, طرفي النهار وزلفا من الليل. So that you can see two ends of the day in such way that you can take Fajr or Asr, or you can take Dhuhr and Asr. But in both ways, this indicates to Dhuhr and Asr and Isha and Maghrib and Isha and Salatul Fajr. So if you take Fajr as the both ends, That is Fajr, and as in the Quran, another part that they say Ghuduwan wa Ashiya. Okay, that you perform your namaz in the dawn, that is Fajr, and the evening, that is Asr. So this period has covered three types of namaz. One is Fajr, Dhuhr, and Asr. And Zulafar min al-Layl, and the approach of the night. Before the night is too much night, that is Maghrib and Al-Isha. Because Isha is just very early nowadays, 7:30 perform Isha. Even if it goes till 9 o'clock, still it becomes the approaching of the night. It is not too late in the night for Isha. So this is the ayah indicates of the 5-time prayers. And in one ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned it by name. As Fajr, Dhuhr, Isha, and Salatul Asr also has come by name. But this will come to discuss about them when we come to know the meaning of the namaz and the issue of the namaz itself. So Salatul Khams, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in Surah Hud, verse 114. Then you have Salatul Jama'ah. Salatul Jama'ah. These are different terms used for different occasions, for different time, for different situations. So if in the concept of performing namaz with congregation, so that it takes the label of Salatul Jama'ah. If the namaz performed during traveling or when you are on journey, so that namaz will be known as Salatul Musafir. When you are performing namaz in the field of the battle, may Allah protect all of us from these things. And when He has to show us this situation, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us a firm intention and protect us from running away from the reality, inshallah. But if ever it happens that we're in the middle of the battle of the field, and in that situation you perform namaz, so that namaz is known as Salatul Khawf. Salatul Khawf. So at night, when you are deciding to perform additional prayers, so that salah is known as Salatul At-Tahajjud. So this Salatul Jama'ah, and meal with those who fast, meaning pray with worshippers. You perform namaz with those who perform namaz. So this is the indication to that Salatul Jama'ah, that when it is Jama'ah, so you join the Jama'ah. Even the Salatul Jama'ah has its own significance and its own importance. Now this is another discussion whether a lady should perform namaz with Jama'at or not. We'll come to discuss about that inshallah in future if Allah wants. Because sometimes our mothers or sisters, they make it a must to come to perform Salatul Jama'ah. Okay? So is it so necessary for you to come for Salatul Jama'ah? When is it necessary? When is not so necessary? But a general rule for ladies congregational prayer is that it is not so important for ladies to come to masjid to perform namaz with Jama'ah. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has described the namaz, the salah of a lady in the house is much better than the namaz performed outside. The same lady, if she performs a Zuhr prayer in her house, and another lady comes to Jummah Masjid, for example, and performs Zuhr prayer in Jummah Masjid, so the salah of that lady who is performing salah in her house is more than the salah of that lady who performs in Jummah Masjid. Are you understanding this? So the lady perform namaz in her house, and not in her house, the namaz you perform in your bedroom, for example, is better than the namaz you perform in your sitting room. And the namaz you perform in sitting room is better than the namaz performed in your yard. You understand? So what concept is Islam giving us here, which our sisters sometimes they fail to understand it? Islam wants to protect you as much as possible. You understand? Islam is introducing the women protection as much as possible. That is encouraging you to keep yourself in the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as possible, as much as you can. That's why Allah is giving you more sawab by performing namaz privately and hiddenly more than performing namaz publicly. You understand? Because he just like a public. You cannot say that I'm protected here. It's on the streets. Anyone can come and say anything can happen there. I'm not discouraging you. When there's a program, you can come. No problem with that. You understand? But don't think that by coming to Juma Masjid or by going to Jamaat Khana, another Jamaat Khana, or another masjid perform namaz there, you are getting more sawab. No. Your sawab, most if you really need more sawab, so perform your namaz with sincerely, with ikhlas. Oh Allah, this is the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I should perform my namaz in my house. So I follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can come and listen to the program. And today we have the screens, we have YouTube, we have everything. Ladies are protected in all ways, but they are the only ones who want to take themselves from this protection. Understand? So this is another discussion we'll discuss about it, inshallah. So and kneel with those who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah 43. واركعوا مع الرب أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون 43. Surah Al-Baqarah 43. So these are the things that I'll be very happy when you people don't make me happy. I mean, it is very interesting when you're performing namaz and you have an idea of what you are learning. Ayah 43. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ, and establish salah and give zakah, وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ, and do ruku among with those who do ruku. Bow down among with those who bow in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is indicates the salah of al-jama'ah, congregational namaz. And also, as I said, namaz jama'ah is not so necessary for ladies. Also for gents, you have to understand jama'ah is very important for you. As it is not important for them according to the Sharia, it is very important for you according to the Sharia. But sometimes we find the ladies are more keen to perform jama'ah than the men. You understand? They come very early to program with namaz, but we men we come during the other time. We just come do our namaz quickly and then we just finish. Okay, let us take the last one. Salatul Eidain. Salatul Eidain. Salatul Eidain also is that namaz which is performed during the Eid time, Eid prayers. Eidain, Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Fitr. Salatul Eid. This Salatul Eid is mentioned in very small surah. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. And pray for your Lord and sacrifice. This ayah is for Salatul Eidain, especially the Eid al-Adha, because there is one half and sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sacrificing for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is done in the Hajj, 10th of the Hajj, inshallah, which is Eid al-Adha. Okay? I think this is too much. So any question or anything to know better in this?
You say established prayer and perform prayer. There is a difference?
Yeah, there is different, but normally established prayer and perform prayer we use it for the same meaning. That go and just stand up and just do your prayer. Then establish prayer, perform prayer, and do your prayer. Okay. So, but in terms of the word, established prayer means aqimus salat. Establish, and perform prayer is adus salat. Okay, namaz ko ada karna. This is Urdu mein kehte hain. In Urdu we say namaz ko qaim karna, aqimus salat, establish namaz. Namaz ko ada karna, that is perform namaz. Okay, Ada Salah in Arabic. And then you have to do namaz. Hmm? To do namaz. So all these things, these words, although they differ in terms of their meaning also, in terms of the strength, in establishing, there's more focus, more strength in it than performing. Okay, and performing is more strong than doing something. You understand? But in Arabic, in Arabic, these things are used also for the same meaning. But when we go to do the operation of these meanings, then we come to know that iqamatu salah and adabu salah is different. Iqamatu salah, that's why you don't want to go to this detail. Iqamatu salah is very wide in terms of understanding namaz. In understanding namaz on its own aspect of that namaz. Which are the aspects of that namaz will come to know about it. And adabu salah, performing namaz, is only to perform namaz to fulfill your farz, which there's no a comprehensive performance. A comprehensive performance means that each and every detail of that namaz is not necessary to be there. You know, there is a farz, things, there is pillars, there is sunnah, there is mustahab, there is wajib, there is mandub, something which is farz, something which is recommended, something which is slightly recommended, highly recommended, strongly recommended. So for performing namaz, you just consider the main issue which make your namaz fulfilled. Okay, but iqamatu salah means you are taking each and every small details of that namaz to complete it. You got it? It's okay? So in details, we will go, inshallah, we'll come to this topic, what is namaz. Anything else? Ji. Sister Said, here? الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والسيد المرسلين حبيبنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم ربنا آنس وحشتنا في قبورنا، اللهم ربنا ارحمنا بالقرآن الكريم واجعله لنا إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة. اللهم ربنا ذكرنا من القرآن ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وفهمنا منه ما غفلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار على النحو الذي يرضيك ويرضي حبيبك عنا واجعله لنا حجة في الدنيا والآخرة يا رب العالمين. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. أفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد. وصلى الله وسلم على خير خلقه ونور عرشه سيدنا وحبيبنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن شاء الله advance Eid Mubarak inshallah. Allah Ta'ala protect you, Allah Ta'ala keep you happy and take all precautions you can. Because this corona is merciless. It does not choose any woman or any man or old or small. It takes anyone who come across. So protect yourself, use the sanitizers, keep your mask properly, and maintain the social distancing as a precaution. Then protection is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum.